Love the salty sweet. We do one with caramel, we do one with peanut butter. We do like the specials pretzel, just covered in milk or dark chocolate. Our flagship pretzel, and that's our number one seller. People really love that kind of grilled flavor. We're handmade, all natural. We don't contain any oils and sugars. We've always been that way. Really, what my dad and I's primary goal is to
Today we're here with Misty Skolnick, co-owner of Uncle Jerry's Pretzels. Misty, thank you for joining us today.
thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I'm very excited because we're talking about hard pretzels today, and it's a fun, surprisingly healthy snack. And we're going to get into the healthy part in a moment. But before we push forward, pretzels continue to drive the U.S. snack industry. You're growing more than 2% for the third year in a row. With that said, Misty, what's the most important message for our audience today? What do you want them to understand about you and Uncle Jerry's as we get going?
I think that Uncle Jerry's is a 40-year-old brand. We have withstood lots of trends, lots of dips in pretzel sales, and now we're seeing an increase in that part of the industry. And the biggest message is it's a classic product. We're handmade, all natural. We don't contain any oils and sugars. We've always been that way. And I think that's why not only Uncle Jerry's, but similar pretzel brands are on the rise as opposed to, higher fat, higher sodium content foods as people are becoming more and more health conscious.
See, it's interesting. I guess I'm wrong. I'm learning here. I wouldn't have before doing the research for this conversation, I wouldn't have realized how healthy pretzels really are. Is that the simplicity of the ingredients? Is that the Uncle Jerry's way of doing it? Or are pretzels just healthier than I realize?
It's the Uncle Jerry's way of doing it. There are several handmade pretzels on the market. So for Uncle Jerry's, we have a really basic recipe: water, yeast, sourdough starter, flour, salt, and a lot of other pretzels that perhaps aren't handmade and that are machine made in commercial bakeries use a lot of oils. So I think that people kind of lump all pretzels together, but there is a big difference between the handmade product and the commercial product, in the same way that bread would be, right? If you buy a sourdough loaf from a baker, it's probably different than the white loaf that you purchase off of the grocery shelf in your store. Does that help kind of clarify the why pretzels are now being viewed a little more healthy than?
I think so. The bread comparison is really great because there's some bread out there that I would say is almost candy. It's so bad for
Yes.
you. And then
Yes.
there's bread that's really prides itself on being healthy. And it
Right.
sounds like Uncle Jerry's really prides itself on being healthy.
We do. We do. I think we've always been healthy. This isn't a trend for us. This is who we are and have always been and will always continue to be. I'm very proud of my dad for what he started and how he's made this commitment to such a quality product.
So you mentioned your dad. Let's, if you don't mind, can we touch on the Uncle Jerry's story for a minute, just for those who don't know? Tell us about how that started and how you started within that story.
Sure. My dad is a Philadelphia native, and he was driving a cab in the city. And he was eventually approached with someone who had an idea for a handmade pretzel that was going to be baked around Lancaster County, but that would be then distributed in Philly. And my dad, because he was so familiar with the city, was aware that there wasn't too much like that on the marketplace at the time. This was in the mid 80s. He had a friend draw the label, which we still use to this day, and he went door to door to small delis, small mom and pop stores, and just said, "Do you want to try these pretzels? If they sell, we'll continue our relationship. If they don't, no problem." And the ball just kept rolling. I joined in 2008, um, just to kind of help him out a little bit. It wasn't a long-term intention. But slowly the business just really grew. It became a lot more national in scope. And here we are today. And my dad is still making deliveries in Philly every week.
That's amazing. Truly
Yes.
very, not only a family story, but a Pennsylvania story.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
incredible. We're here today with Misty Skolnick, co-owner of Uncle Jerry's Pretzels. We're celebrating that we're getting 3 years in a row of growth. And the question I have is, where's that growth coming from? Who are these new customers? So is it a younger audience learning about pretzels? Is it protein chips and other categories coming in? Misty, where do you feel these new customers are coming from?
A lot of different segments. I think, you know, there's always there's a generation that's growing up that's now has a more disposable income that is really conscious about the food that they're putting in their body. So as they become financially independent, they are making those decisions. I think there's also, you know, diet drugs and GLP-1 drugs are really popular and they are really changing the way people eat and snack.
Hmm.
And it's changing the way people are envisioning food again. And I think just people are transitioning out from the traditional chips. I mean, they just want something different. They want something a little more solid, something they can count on. It's just a confluence of events. And what I always find interesting is my expectation had initially been that when people aren't eating pretzels, they're eating potato chips or something similar, like a salty fix. But really what the trend seems to be is when people aren't eating pretzels, they're eating popcorn and nuts. So you really see this transition into healthy snacking, which I found fascinating. So,
That is interesting. And that actually takes us to the next point, which is I got to try, excuse me, three different flavors of the pretzels. And one of the flavors, the dark flavor, was low salt, and then I'm assuming like a regular salt. And maybe I'm just more sensitive to salt than I realized, but I really appreciated the low salt option. And I almost found my I was able to pull more flavor out of the pretzel when the salt wasn't there. So can you talk a little bit about the different flavors that you offer and if you have any feedback as far as like for me, I would not have expected myself to like the low salt as much, and I liked it even more. So I'm curious any feedback you get about those flavors.
so the first thing is all of our pretzels are available in regular and low salt. So for every variety that we have, we offer both options. Like you, I'm not a huge salt fan. So I tend to eat the low salt varieties. For people that really want the salt, we have those. Our flagship pretzel is a classic medium brown pretzel called the Special. And that's your traditional sourdough pretzel with the nice brown finish. And then the second product that my dad started was the Special Pretzel baked long, and it almost has like a dark charred taste, which is now the extra dark pretzel, and that's our number one seller. Um, people really people really love that kind of grilled flavor, and then we have a whole wheat pretzel that a lot of people enjoy, and a lighter oat bran pretzel as well. And it really depends. And what I always remind people is that we are a handmade pretzel, so there always is a little bit of variation between batches. So, what you got as a regular pretzel this time might not be the exact match next time, but we do our best.
So I'm going to segue for a second because you just mentioned that, and we're not going to get too heavy into alcohol, but a lot of our audience is into wine and whiskey, etc. And the comparison I want to make is single barrel whiskey compared to batch whiskey.
Yep.
So similar, yeah. And so that's the level of specialty we're talking about, and
Yes.
that's the level of individual taste per bag we're talking about is, but it's not unlike whiskey where that's usually a higher end option. Here that's every bag. Is that correct?
Exactly. Right. So it's the same price point for each variety.
Wow. It shows just the level of craftsmanship behind the product. that it's that. And I'm assuming a more mass-produced pretzel would probably not have that.
Right.
Perfect.
I know people love variation, or I'm sorry, people love seeing the same thing come out the same way every time. And I get that predictability is great. But when you think about what's going on in order for that French fry to look the exact same every time, it may or may not be a good thing.
I think at least with this audience, we absolutely want the differentiations because that tells us it's truly one of a kind.
Right.
Even if it's just a fraction of a difference, it just means going back to your French fry. This didn't come out of a factory, and they're not all 1 billion fries aren't the exact same thing. That's a little bit too non-natural.
It is,
Yeah.
yes.
And just as a side note to your specials, the your traditional pretzel, when we laid them out down the hall in the kitchen area, the crew went crazy for the specials.
Oh,
And
that's interesting.
so just the look, there's something about them because we laid out all three pretzels. I again I like the low salt best, but that bowl emptied the fastest. So clearly it's popular for a reason.
Yes, yes, and it's interesting. I mean, that just goes to show you it varies from region to region that the extra dark weren't people's favorite in this case. That's what I love. I have no expectations. It's just what you want.
Beautiful. So we're here today with Misty Skolnick, the co-owner of Uncle Jerry's Pretzels. Now we're going to talk about flavor as far as mashups go. Um, there's pretzel mashups with popcorn, with pita chips, with chocolate. What do you think is so interesting about these snack hybrids, and how does Jerry's take? What's Jerry's take on hybrid snacks?
I should first say that we do have a line of chocolate covered pretzels. They are from October to April, and we kind of have to stop shipping when it gets too warm and they get melted. So for a pretzel chocolate mashup, I'm a big fan. I love the salty sweet. We do one with caramel, we do one with peanut butter. We do like the specials pretzel, just covered in milk or dark chocolate. So I think it's a great compliment. The popcorn pita chips, you know, just because it's shaped like a pretzel, is it a pretzel? That's one thing to consider. Um, I think what is a pretzel to the consumer, right? Is it just the shape of it? Is it, like ours where you have thickness and depth and the sourdough piece to it? Or is it just something that like looks like a pretzel and has all kinds of different bready flavors to it?
I think the answer we should be thinking about possibly is what you said a few minutes ago, which is looking at the ingredients. With due respect, your pretzels have the basic ingredients and nothing else.
Right.
Right. And
Right.
so when we look at maybe that's the answer is when we're really when we're in the snack aisle, we look at that ingredients in the back of the bag. And if it only has the ingredients to make a pretzel, that's a pretzel. The more it adds to it, maybe it's covering something else up.
Right. And I should add, there's a lot of the flavorings that are being added to a lot of foods right now. Like one of the reasons we haven't done that is because you have to use different oils and things like that. So it fundamentally changes the pretzel and who we are, not just being an all natural pretzel, but then also some of the partners that we work with won't carry it because it changes the label.
Oh, interesting. Okay, that's
Yes.
good to know. So now
Mhm.
something I love is obviously you shipped, we're based in Los Angeles and we receive your pretzels via e-commerce. So can you ship anywhere in the world?
Unfortunately, we just ship in the continental US.
Yeah.
The main reason for that is breakage. Our pretzels are very fragile and we just don't ship internationally at this time. I do recommend if people can ship to a local address and then have them forwarded with the carrier of their choice, that may be an option. I did have a gentleman, I think he was in Hong Kong, and we did that. It's quite a financial investment for people to ship pretzels internationally, and I hate the idea that they get something less than par and that's crushed into little pieces. So,
That would be very disappointing. You're right.
yes.
But for our US audience, who is watching this, they can absolutely go on the website, absolutely make the order, and it should be there in just a couple of days.
Please.
Perfect. So as we're wrapping up, I ask everyone this. I hope you'll indulge me with it. Um, who's watching? Foodies are watching, wine lovers, cocktail enthusiasts. What's your favorite food and drink pairing?
Okay. Well, obviously, beer and pretzels. I love a good lager and a nice crunchy pretzel. When I'm not eating that, I do like a crisp Granny Smith apple with some sharp cheddar cheese. And of course, I can never say no to peppermint patties with
Oh,
milk. So I think I had a lot of different categories. I trust me, there's more, but I won't bore everybody.
no problem. As we wrap up, what's next for Uncle Jerry's Pretzels? Any fun ideas, twists, anything we can get excited about in the future?
We're trying to come out with a new variety in the next year. So we're looking forward to that, trying to tap into the protein market. Really, what my dad and I's primary goal is to get pretzels to you on the West Coast.
Man,
So if we can really find solid distribution so that we can rely on that network as opposed to shipping. We'd love to see Uncle Jerry's on more shelves in the West Coast.
we're here with Misty Skolnick from Uncle Jerry's Pretzels. Misty, as our audience is hearing about you and the pretzels and the flavors and the surprising health to it all, if we wanted to go somewhere to buy these, if we're in the United States, please tell us the website where we should go, as well as if we want to learn more about you, any social media so we can follow along.
Sure. Our website is unclejerryspretzels.com and our social media handles are at Uncle Jerry's Pretzels.
Pretty straightforward.
Zip.
I really appreciate your time. I really enjoyed the pretzels. The entire crew really enjoyed the
Oh, well,
pretzels.
good. I'm glad to hear that.